We're back. Derick Gwiner along with Matt Rose, back from a 3-month hiatus. We both picked up some nice colds along the way, and I'd like to say we're fresh off a layoff, but we're really not. But the matchmaker in the Levy series is starting, so we're here to talk about both of them. Some interesting races. We got 4 divisions of the matchmaker, 5 of the Levy. We're not going to go through all of them. We're going to take a look at one division of the Levy in depth. We're going to look at the contenders, though, for the matchmaker. And I put 10 up on the board there. And Matt, what do you think? Do you have a winner out of that bunch?
Well, we see some familiar faces and some new faces. Chartenet, one of these highly talked about imports. Market Apart, we see in racing. He's come back pretty strong. Celibate, Peter Tritton entrant, who's been racing pretty much all winter in the open class. The Yonkers has been doing great. LA Delight put in a super effort last week in an open handicap at Yonkers. First start for the Nancy Johansson bar. Marcus Johansson was driving. Yannick Gingras is listed for this Friday night. I thought she put in a superb effort. Lady Shadow, a highly talked about high price purchase at the maybe still trying to find her legs again.
We'll have to see how she does in the banker barn now.
Yeah,
obviously.
Mackenzie A, last year's Levy winner, Peter Tritton, coming off just one qualifier, but I'm sure she's ready to go. Safe from Terror won a couple weeks ago in an open handicap at Yonkers. We'll see what she brings to the table, but yeah, you know, it should be a fun series this year, just like it is every year. It's going to be the next 5 Friday nights.
And you left off Audilox, who, you know, won in 49 and change last week, and last year, excuse me, and is now in the Eddie Hart barn.
Yeah, raced well in the preferred, and we'll see what she's made of. I also left, I guess if you want to say left out somebody, I left out Call Me Queen Bee, who's a speedy mare, might have something to prove now at the higher levels, but speed on a half-mile track always helps.
Now these are going to race on races 7 through 10 on Friday night. Right. You know, they put them all nice in a nice big row. There's a pick 5 starts in race 7, so you just have to go to one condition race. The rest are all stakes. Probably Chartenet looks the best in the first division. Celibate N and LA Delight, who drew inside post 1 and 2 in the second division. You got some more favorites in the third division, though they're all there. Lady Shadow, Call Me Queen Bee, Audilox all look like they have a pretty big shot in there. And then Mackenzie stuck outside the last year's champion, so that should be interesting. But we're going to move on to the Levy series, and we're going to take a look at some of the contenders in there. And we got a nice big list of 12 for these 5 divisions.
First of all, there were 36, 37, I think, total nomination entries in the Levy. These are obviously your hand-picked selections of the top contenders.
Well, listen, there could be others in there. I mean, Always at My Place isn't on there, but he could play a role in this series for sure. And there are some other ones, you know. But
right, so I'll pick out a few of my top contenders. Perhaps not go through the entire list because I don't want to waste your time, Derick.
Market So, who happens to be on top there, this is his 5th year in the Levy.
Well, you know what? Every year we say this. What's a Levy without Foiled Again or mentioning Foiled Again? Speaking about his 5th Levy, obviously Foiled Again is no longer a Levy horse, but he's still considered a Saturday night type horse, looking for that win number 100. Got to throw out the name Foiled Again whenever we talk about the Levy. Anyway, yeah, Market So. Was he a bit short maybe in those 3 qualifiers? I'm not sure. He could be ready to go. Wouldn't shock me at all. Chris and Mien, moving down the list, highly regarded down under imports.
I think a little disappointing last year, perhaps, though.
Yeah, but you know what? I think didn't they say they mapped out a schedule where they're not going to race as often or as hard? Maybe that'll work to his advantage. Waikiki Beach, we're going to see a clip him racing at Pompano a couple of weeks ago. This horse, a lot of buzz surrounding this horse. We'll get to that in a minute. Keystone Velocity, last year's Levy champion, stuck outside this week off 2 qualifiers, one off the pace and one down the road. Dr. J. Hanover, a speedy sort.
Fastest horse ever in Canada. 46 and 4.
Launched off a trip. All bets off. Be interesting to see, unfortunately, and it's worth mentioning Matt Kakaley, all bets off, regular driver, was in a pretty bad, nasty accident this past Tuesday night at Yonkers. Wish him the best of luck recuperating and hope to see him back soon.
All bets off was 2nd in the 2016 Levy, if memory serves.
Yep, and he had another solid year last year, $734,000 in the bank. So keep in mind when you're looking at these races for Friday, Saturday, there's going to be driver changes, late driver changes announced with any horse that Matt Kakaley was driving. Anything else to add to the list?
Summer in LA was second last year. He's coming back in. I think he only missed a half length behind Keystone Velocity. He was on the list. Rock and Ron is a nice versatile type, I think. He can show speed. He can win from off the pace. And when he's in the right spots, he's going to make some noise for sure.
Two things I'll talk about. Summer in LA had 2 starts back at Yonkers already. Now it is 20,000. Won both of those starts. Didn't look overly impressive, I don't think, in either one of those starts. Does he come up? Does he have an advantage because he's been racing regularly at Yonkers, or maybe I'm right? He's just might come up a little bit short. Rock and Ron disappointed in his last race at Yonkers. He figured he'd be strong, sent down the road to speed tighten, and he gave it up readily. So it's hard. Those are 2 obviously contenders for this year and years past, and who knows who's going to get this year.
We didn't even mention Bit of a Legend, who won in 2016, 4th in 2017. Got off to a little bit of a slow start in the Levy, I think, last year, didn't he?
Yeah, but he still made his presence felt throughout, and didn't win last year. Had a little bit too far to come, but still finished with plenty of pace. Much like stablemate Mackenzie A, who won the matchmaker, only 1 qualifier, and Peter Tritton says he's ready to go. Draws well in the 5th Levy division, and I expect him to be a presence right off the bat.
Well, we're going to take a look specifically at the 2nd Levy division. That's race number 5 on the card. You'll see the entries pop up on your screen, and Matt Kakaley obviously will be a driver change on the 2, always at my place. And it's an interesting field in that you got the 2 down under imports and Kristen Meehan and Waikiki Beach A. And then you got the Levy champion from last year, Keystone Velocity. And we're going to take a look at the Levy final from last year, and you're going to see something where the Keystone Velocity is going to come up the inside to win this up the passing lane, which doesn't exist anymore.
There's no more passing lane anymore. Obviously, see the leader drifting out, so there probably would have been a lane anyway. But yep, there's no passing lane this year at Yonkers Raceway, which is going to make it made a huge change strategically. Keystone Velocity might not have gotten clear early enough to be able to get the jump on someone in LA, and the other horses coming on the outside. Bit of a Legend and Missile J were also on the far outside coming. Listen, it changed the whole dynamic of the racing there, and it should make for more interesting racing. You see pocket pullers all over the place, horses moving 3 wide. I'm eagerly anticipating these 2 series, especially with the change in the
Keystone Velocity was used a little bit in that qualifier at Pocono, probably obviously looking to stretch him out, for this race, and it'd be interesting to see if driver Dan Dubé decides the gun from the post 7 here.
I don't see a ton of speed in this race. I really don't. We don't know what we're going to see from Waikiki Beach. I do imagine he's going to be over bet, just for all like curiosity money, because there's been a buzz around this horse. I picture him getting played. Chris and me's going to get played. Always at my place has speed from the inside, but again, we don't know who's going to be driving. We won't know until Saturday night. Off 2 qualifiers. I don't know if he's ready to go. It wouldn't shock me if Dan Dubé took a shot right off the bat, right out of the gate in this first race in 2018. Why not try to put him in good position? Why not try to pick up points in leg 1 of the series? You know what? Maybe he scores a lot of points in this leg by winning. He can take a break in one of the later legs in case where he might not if he needed to earn more points. So he's ready to go. I'm sure he's ready to go, and I wouldn't be shocked if he was put in play even from post 7.
You mentioned Waikiki Beach, and we're going to take a look at his replay from Pompano Park on February the 11th. You're going to see he's 4th on the outside right here. He's number 8, just swinging wide off the turn. And, to come from this far back to win a race at Pompano Park is, I think, pretty impressive. And the time, 1:50.2, is certainly nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, it wasn't a wild, crazy last quarter, but yeah, he made up a ton of ground. And I know they're very high in this horse. And you notice that Scott Zeron on the bike, who was wintering in Florida and was there to drive this horse. My only question mark, I'm sure the talent is there, but sometimes these horses, the down under horses, have a little buzz. They're overbet right off the bat, and they in my opinion, from a gambling standpoint, they haven't delivered as often as they should, especially at a short price. With that said, Chris and me, who'll probably end up being my top choice in this race, at least he's been racing regularly. He has experience racing over the Yonkers surface. He draws well here, and I think this outfit always has them ready when they ship up to Yonkers. I think it'd be good to go from this spot.
I was talking to owner Eric Cherry of Waikiki Beach, and when I was down in Florida, and he basically said that Waikiki Beach is the total package. You know, he could basically do whatever you want. My one concern is the little bit of a layoff. He hasn't raced since that race we just saw back in February.
He did qualify because I think they couldn't get a race in for him or something to that effect.
Qualifier was solid, 55 and change. You know, should be, you know, ready to go off that, you would think. I don't want a short price here. If I'm gonna, as you say, if I'm gonna get less than 2-1, I don't want any part of Waikiki
That's why,
Beach.
you know what? If he's a short price,
he's my top pick, but not at less than 2-1.
I agree. I'm probably gonna watch and wait and see what he brings to the table because I know he's gonna be played, and maybe I'll jump on board in week 2 and at 3-5 or something like that.
So we got a vote for Waikiki, a vote for Kristen Me. I think if Waikiki is less than 2-1, I'd probably go to Keystone Velocity and take a shot that he guns out and doesn't look back.
Listen, he's going to be in my tickets. There's no way I'm not using because the other horses in this race are either maybe a little outclassed or not ready yet. And I believe Keystone Velocity is ready. Let's see what he brings to the table from post 7.
We'll see what the first round of the Levy, first round of the Matchmaker bring this Friday and Saturday night at Yonkers Raceway, and then we'll come back next week and pick some more winners. Good luck.